you want to talk about documentary? Because I got something to say about that.
I haven't seen the third episode, but
Have you seen? I know you've seen it.
I ain't been his last 30 minutes. I mean, I can spoil it for me, and I'll just go back and cry.
I didn't like this one. I mean, I feel like the first two was incredible. This one, because I feel like because of the way they separated, Cootie couldn't really fulfill like Cootie. He couldn't fulfill the third episode like he did the first two. Cause this one he started veering off into his child. No one, I'm not like no this
against it,
like nothing against Cootie. Like I mean I respect you for what I'm saying. Putting whatever you had to the side to do this documentary. You saw what you wanted Kanye, but
ain't nobody here to see you, Otis.
Like we're not trying to see. You know what I'm saying? Your daughter being born, much respect. You know what I'm saying? We know you love your daughter, but when you turn that on, like I'm like,
that was almost a good 30 minutes of that shit for all
like, what's
together.
What's going on? Like, what are we doing? Like, I'm heard that this is a Kanye documentary.
Third episode?
Yes.
Yep.
I told you, boo. How his daughter's being born, how he, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I get how he still really came around, and when Kanye had his daughter, he kind of wrapped it around that sort of.
He tried to save it with that, but it was too. It was
like,
too gone.
It was no one wanted to see that. And then like it picked back up because they finally got back together, but I feel like, and then they crammed everything.
I told you.
From the second episode. From that ended, they crammed it to the Donda. So we didn't get no how some of the stuff was made on Graduation. How much stuff was made on.
They sneezed on Life of Pablo.
Yeah, they ain't even say we didn't get none of that shit.
Sneezed on it.
We got a little bit of how kids see ghosts. Like it like
they did more. They did more on Kids See Ghosts. That's out of all the way to Donda. That's the most they touched on.
They didn't no Yeezus and no Dark Twisted Fantasy.
No Yeezus, no Dark.
No, seriously?
They ain't even done that, fool.
Like this episode literally failed.
I thought they would say Dark Twisted Fantasy because that was one of his.
Bro, I swear they did this shit all.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that's crazy.
I really was hyped. Like I was like at the first two episodes, I was like, damn, we get to see Ike Bay with Jamie Foxx and shit.
You know, now I feel like this is more catered to the newer audience that were just they're just trying to catch people up to what Kanye was on back then. But bro, people like our generation especially, the Watch the Throne, Dark Twisted Fantasy.
They didn't even talk about that, did they?
Bro, that was Kanye's 99 overall peak. Like when niggas was like Kanye and the Illuminati, like that era right there. That was the number one Kanye. Like
that was
ever.
making fire.
But if you don't tap into that, you're not even getting like
to his fault though. Like he only could document stuff he saw on the news. He couldn't really get.
Him and Kanye was split up at that time. Like Kanye was like on his own. Like soon as his mom's died, like Kanye was just like on his own shit. Like well, he went on his own shit, but he wasn't like fucking with Cootie. Nothing against him, but he was just like handling his own way. So it's like Cootie wasn't around for like 6 years.
It was like when after he had all like success after graduation, like when Kanye started.
Well, it started fading in.
Yeah, he started. Feeling his, when Kanye started feeling himself, he started leaving everybody behind.
Yeah, he had a nice.
And then he came back around after.
Like, he told Cootie, he like, don't record me, like on some paparazzi shit. And then Cootie was like, that's when he felt different. That's the last song he started. Like, well, for the next 6 years, that was the last time he had recorded.
Damn.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But you know what I'm saying? I couldn't.
Did Cootie?
I really think like now that I've seen that third episode, I think Kanye didn't really have that much input into this because. Kanye would not have let that third episode come out like that. Like, let's be real. That episode was poor. Like, I don't think Kanye would have wanted his story of how
keep it real though. Like, let's just even like taking a little bit of imaginary. Like, what could they have done different though? Because if you don't have 6 years worth of footage, like, okay, compared to episode 1 to episode 2, all that was raw, pretty much unseen footage. For the third episode, if you have a blank of 6 years worth of footage, how do you replace that?
There's he wasn't of everything, bro. Yeah, like, I'm not saying there might not have been episode 1 detailed footage, but there's footage of him running for the presidency. There's footage of him with Kim. There's footage
not on no behind the scenes though.
There's footage inside.
Sure there's something.
There's always stuff. I'm pretty sure there was footage and they got cameras in the recording studio. They could have.
Yeah, but they got something.
They should have got the paparazzi.
I mean, but you talking about putting a lot of people efforts together for this documentary. You know what I'm saying? At that point, versus a smooth selling of having Cootie. You know what I'm saying? with
That's why I feel like
330 hours worth of content. You get what I mean?
Cootie than Kanye, because it's about your film, about you doing all this.
But to me, I love that though. That was the beauty of it, because like we talked about last time, it showed how much, you know, even though it kind of shined light on Donda too, I feel like at the same time it also put a little something on Cootie too, because it's just like this man really dedicated his life to Kanye. You know what I mean? Like he really believed in him. You know, when Kanye still wasn't shit yet, to sit here and record this man's life. So put your dreams of being a comedian to the side.
Do you feel like Kanye had to come back and reconcile that relationship in order to make this work, because he had a majority of the footage from way back then?
I ain't gonna lie, that did cross my mind.
You know,
no cap, that did cross my mind.
But I feel like, okay, like we were saying, when he started getting big and winning all Grammys, you gonna feel yourself, and you gonna feel like, I don't need my. Hey, y'all ain't really ain't doing it.
I don't think that was the reason though.
I don't think he was wrong for shooting one.
But I don't think that was the reason though. I just feel like it wasn't I don't need Cootie, because at any time, no matter what, he could have brought Cootie along.
But I'm saying,
but at the same time, it was more of like, I have shit to handle. My mind is really on other shit. So Cootie kind of fell to the wayside, but it wasn't on purpose. It was just like on some, you know, tunnel vision type shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think they should have kept it to the first 3 albums. Personally, if they would have done an episode for each album, so like the first episode,
I can see that.
The first episode was his first album.
I can see
he
that.
was just trying to break free from the whole producer shit.
But then they still had to touch on the fact that his mom died though. They still would have had to do that.
But they could have done that. Broken down. They could have done that in another thing.
I know it's only 3 episodes, but let's do a part 2.
I say it could have been.
But then this moment would still be inevitable though. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, the problem of the whole situation is that lack of footage for 6 years.
But it would have
Kanye don't have no footage.
But it comes down to the way it's digestible.
Somebody got it.
Because all of that, all that's good, and we want to see that. But it has to be in a way where we want to be able to sit down and watch it. So the way that he put it together in this last episode, like I watched it up to about half of it, and then I was kind of like, I don't really want to watch the end of it because it didn't really seem interesting. Yeah. But I feel like if they would have separated it. Like, since this was 3 episodes, if it was just the first 3 of his albums, that would have been a dope, cohesive little project, because it would have been,
you want more and everything.
Yeah, because it would have been his first 3 albums, which was the whole college concept or whatever, and then that would have been a project, and then he could have came back and did everything after that, and that could have had a totally different focus. That way, it could have been consumable as one.
Yeah,
I 100%. I agree with that. And he could have. And we all know this is making like. This probably putting himself in Netflix rooms. He could have went back and be like, okay, I got all of these viewers on here because of me, so I'm gonna come back and give y'all another, 3 little episodes. So don't give me that. I mean,
they
could have took out the time to collect that footage that he didn't have in the 6 years.
If you'd have dropped like you said, those 3 of this album. You could have the next year.
You've been good for a year. You know what I'm saying? To collect footage for a year. Yo.
Drop this.
And motherfuckers would have been waiting on that shit.
Yeah. Like, but I think what you said, what fucked it up was that big ass gap.
Yeah.
Because it was like, what else we put here? I don't know. Let's just see what Cootie was doing at the time.
And like,
exactly. Shout out to Cootie because he recorded all this shit, but it was like the thing is genius. Like, this is
got shit to do with
the Kanye.
And it was like the juice. That was the meat of like. I feel like that's what we was waiting for. That meat, and then it's just like I don't know. We just got shot. We just got shot. Exactly. That's what we want. No Amber Rose. We ain't get no Amber Rose.
But that's why I was thinking, bro. I feel like Kanye had to like go back and be like, hey man, like kind of make up with him so he could get that footage. And Cootie at least was like, all right, let me get a little shine. Like, it just felt like that. I was like,
the Taylor Swift thing, they covered that for like a second. I thought we were going to get like behind the scenes footage.
That would have been hilarious.
All that
she felt about it.
Like, but I think Cootie did. I think Cootie was like, okay, I got all this stuff, and he probably presented to Kanye. It'd have been dope if he would have went back and interviewed Kanye. Like, he would have had Kanye watch what he had and interviewed Kanye on how he felt, and you know what I'm saying? You know how documentaries is, and get his point of view on stuff. Therefore, he could have just took the footage of what we had with Taylor Swift with all these moments, and Kanye could have talked about it. And how he felt. You know how he go on his little tangents. He could have.
It would have been fire.
He definitely approved it, but I mean, I wonder how much they probably cut out.
That true. That too.
Yeah, supposedly cut out a lot of shit. There was a lot of shit supposed to cut up out of
it. They crammed so much.
I don't even think. I think actually, we didn't even see Kim in that, did we?
Yeah, they was on.
Probably like you can get one scene. That's it.
It's gonna be hard for me to watch that third episode, knowing that's probably gonna be the last episode ever that they do of a Kanye doc. Like it's just
I do feel like
proper. Bro.
The whole thing is like the first 2 episodes, like that slow ass, like that roller coaster. You're at the top, and then you're waiting for the third episode, and then it just goes.
It's like it's like the upper slope got a boost. It's like it was going up slow with the first episode. Like they showed every single detail of everything, and then all of a sudden they just shot up and went over.
And then you see like the once he got back with him, the imagery was totally different. It was so much better. It was clearer now.
That's the side. It just show you how times like you know technology have progressed.
I'm like, man, this shit like he's in 4K.
Yeah,
because the first episode made you think like, oh, we getting like an in depth like day by day. Like we're getting to see, and then all.
That's why I told y'all off the real. My reference.
2 years.
My reference was to Tiger King. When I told y'all, after I seen that phrase, I was like, bro, it's low key really on some Tiger King shit. Like this nigga was recording his day to day basis type shit. You know what I mean? But it was when them girls you get to the house and you think you finna do something and she get in there and be wag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It ain't wag, but it just when it's fire.
It was fire. You thought you could have lived with the thought of it more.
Yeah.
She don't throw it back like you thought
I
she
appreciate
was.
it for what it gave us though, because it did. The first 2 episodes did give us context to things that we otherwise would have had no context to. So I appreciate it for what it was.
Those first 2 episodes like really motivated me. Third one I was just like, all right.